Hi everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Such a pleasure to meet you all in the morning every day.
Hanji, good morning, everyone. A very, very good morning to all the dear students.
And today we have a plan. Today we are going to talk about the most important thing that is coming up. So, we in our lectures, in our transform sessions in the morning, we try to, balance the thing. Like we talk about different aspects of your preparation at different times. Today we thought, why don't we talk about the upcoming exam? We need to talk about the INICET paper. So me and Dr. Deepti will talk about different aspects. So first of all, I would start with the mindset that we have to make sure that you understand that INICET is a big opportunity. It is actually not only a big opportunity for the simple reason that you get into the central institutes. It is also a big opportunity because the number of central institutes has increased. Earlier, yesterday I was talking to another doctor, and he said that at his time there was only one AIMS, and a very few number of seats were there, and now there are so many AIMS. So the opportunity is big not only in terms of the value that you create for yourself, it is also big in terms of the number of seats available, and also being a central institute, all the things like exams happen on time, stipends come on time, you get the best of the equipment with to train on. All the different advantages are there anyhow. So, my request to you is take the remaining days seriously. It is the exam which can change your life. It's a very asymmetric opportunity.
Absolutely, yes. So, there are round about 20 days for the upcoming exam. And yes, these 20 days are, as Dr. Sumay said, are very vital. And they're also significant amount of time, right? What you do in these last 20 days is definitely going to, buck up your score, can put you on a different level ground, right? And so we have to take it as like, the opportunity is there and we have to go grab it. So first, I would just start with something very broad, and I have mentioned it previously. What would be my top recommendations as far as these next 20 days are concerned? Okay. Number one, I would say definitely yes, PYQ ka baap. It has been a game changer always. And how we do PYQ ka baap is very different. So it's not just answers, it's PYTs, and this time it was also predictors, right? Number two, I would definitely say mission INICET. They're two very different things. They're different modes of revision. So when you combine these, it's like ensuring that you're not missing out on any important thing for the upcoming INICET. Third, I would say anybody who has access to INI-TND, and if you don't, then maybe LRR and DVT, right? So these are for your content. Okay, so if you have INI-TND, you can just go through your videos or the notes that you made. If you don't, use LRR. It is a very concise version, as well as it will ensure that you're not missing out on anything. You have good level of content as well, which is needed for INICET for certain topics, right? So these are my broad recommendations, and today I have something very special which I will also come to, would be some key recommendations as well. So
And
hand over to Dr.
before we go on to those recommendation, I just wanted to share a happy news that yesterday we had the Rajasthan Medical Officer exam, and 100 questions were there, and almost all the questions were from your DAMS notes. And gives us, and I can see one bacha also, Krishan, in the comment box also writing that he could get 97 correct because of the DAMS notes. So we're
That's
grateful
so nice,
that,
Krishan. Wish you all the best for your results as well.
yeah, we're grateful for the ability to touch so many lives. What I we believe that DAMS is the bridge between the level of medical education available and the medical education required to get into the exams to make a great career. We are that bridge which gives you that gap, fill up that gap. And I'm so happy that even in the Rajasthan Medical Officer exam, we could get that strike rate of 100%. Now, let us go more granular into ANICET. ANICET paper, and I would ask Dr. DP to add on, 50% of the paper will be your basic sciences.
Yes.
Basic sciences, your first, second year are very important. So we need to give them the due credit and we need to talk about them. Like, for
Yes.
example, like we
And
did a
that's what I'm
special
going to do
session.
today.
Yes, we did a special session on the cadaveric dissection anatomy images, which is now available in your back to basics in every section, that cadaveric images are unique to INICET. Pathology images. Our image-based questions are more common from first, second year than from third, fourth year in your INICET paper. So remember, first, second year revision should be important. It should be a part of your journey. So Dr. Deepti, any particular topics they should stress upon from the first, second year?
Yes, I would definitely. So I want everyone to sit with a pen and paper. I would give the top five recommendations in your first and second year subjects, right? Which are the ones which are important for any set. And yes, you could just definitely ensure that in these 20 days you oversee these topics. So I would not go with all of them together. So I would tell some, then hand over the mic to Dr. Sumer, and then come back to it. So let's see what are the top recommendations as far as anatomy is concerned. So the first recommendation is brachial plexus, okay, and upper limb nerve injuries. They're very commonly asked and they are highly, highly important. The second recommendation in anatomy would be cranial nerves and their lesions. So the question could be image based, dissection based, whatever, but cranial nerves and their images, okay, lesions. The third recommendation is abdominal blood supply and portal vein. Okay, so abdominal blood supply, portal vein. Fourth recommendation is certain topics from embryology. For example, pharyngeal arches, very, very important. Okay, cloaca derivatives, again, very important. Cardiac looping, right? So those are important for embryology. Then histology, especially coming to, epithelial types and placenta structure. So those would be top five recommendations for anatomy that you should ensure you go through in your last days. Coming to physiology now. So the first recommendation would be acid-base physiology, okay, or acid-base balance. At number two, I'm going to put the cardiac cycle and ECG interpretation. So it could be like an intermixed or an integrated question with medicine, but yes, it's very, very important. So cardiac cycle and ECG interpretation. Number three would be hemoglobin dissociation curve. Again, they're very fond of asking it and things related to it. Okay, for example, maybe the effect of 2,3-DPG and so on and so forth. Fourth at four for physiology would be hormonal regulation, especially thyroid, especially adrenal, and to some extent even menstrual cycle. Okay, and at number five, yes, again, it is like an overlapping topic with physio or pediatrics, but yes, some aspects of fetal circulation, right? They are important. So those would be my top five recommendations from anatomy and physiology. Now let's see what I would want you to do in biochem. Are you ready? So for biochem, the first recommendation would be enzyme inhibitions, right? So KM, Vmax, okay, ye wale concepts are important. At number two would be glycolysis as well as the TCA cycle. I've seen when I'm going through the PYQs, they are constantly there, even the ETC basics, right? So they're very important. Number three recommendation is very important. It is vitamins, especially B1, B6, B12, vitamin D, vitamin C. Okay, so intake questions are coming a lot. Okay, and sometimes they integrate even these vitamins with I would say sometimes even with things like gynecology, but they are always there, right? Then important certain molecular basics like transcription, translation basics, ye aate rehte hain. And finally, the top fifth recommendation is going to be molecular diseases, right? So jisme I would especially want to highlight, let's say G6PD, galactosemia, and glycogen storage diseases. So those would be the top five recommendations in anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry. I'll invite Dr. Sumit back, and then I will give the top five recommendations in the second year subjects.
So I think wonderfully compiled, and I would say, Dr. Deepti has worked very hard to give you the high yield topics. So, Dr. Deepti, very quickly, if we can enumerate for the students to write down: anatomy, embryology, histology, and we
Yes.
already discussed about cadaveric images, brachial
Cranial
plexus,
nerves and lesions,
cranial nerves,
brachial
very important.
plexus, and abdominal wall blood supply.
And
Portal
portal
vein as
vein,
well.
bladder vein, liver segments also they've asked in the past. So I think that falls into the same place. And what about biochemistry? We said like glycolysis, your TCA
TCA
cycle,
cycle, yes. Molecular basics,
is
okay, they are
G6PD,
important. Yes. G6PD, metabolic disorders में typically G6PD, galactosemia बहुत common है. Then glycogen storage diseases बहुत common है. Vitamins are an absolutely must do. Okay.
and in physiology we had about the fetal circulation and
Yes, so embryology, अच्छा वो तो हम कर चुके. So in
physiology.
physio, yes, acid base balance, cardiac cycle, okay. And as I said, they usually ask integrated questions with ECG, cardiac cycle, some aspect of medicine maybe, oxygen, hemoglobin or hemoglobin dissociation curve in particular, and the effects of various things in it, and hormonal regulation. So thyroid and adrenal are definitely the top, and sometimes, as I said, we do go into the menstrual cycle details as well with the hormones integration.
And that is why, we all know that INICET is a predictable paper. So in the final phase, that is why we are stressing on your mission INICET. These are the topics which have been stressed upon from the mission INICET, and they are very important. If you're not able to search for them yourself, don't do that. Just listen to the teacher in the mission INICET, you will get the extra edge. I will also request Dr. Deepti, because 50% of the paper is going to be for second year. Today, let's cover some important part of pathology, microbiology also, because I feel they are also very important, like your pathology slide images and even the infectious
Absolutely.
disease approach, very important. So, Dr.
And
Deepti, what about
why I decided this was, Kina, last May, the students need to know that the first and second year are more important as compared to NEET PG. So, let's at least ensure the most probable things are not missed and they're good on, and we are reflexly good on them. Okay, so let's talk about the top 5 recommendations for pathology. Okay, so the first one in pathology that I've always seen is differentiation between apoptosis, necrosis. Okay, that's number 1. Second, inflammation and its mediators. That's going to be number 2. Okay. At number 3, I'm going to keep amyloidosis, almost always there in the paper. Number 4 is neoplasia basics, right? For example, oncogenes, tumor suppressor genes, again, always asked. And lastly, fifth recommendation is going to be important, genetic translocations like Burkitt's, like CML, right? So these are going to be important in terms of genetics. So those were the top 5 recommendations for PATH. Okay, are you ready for microbiology, everyone? Okay, so top 1 recommendation for microbiology to be covered in the last 20 days is going to be sterilization and disinfection. Okay. At number 2, I'm going to keep bacterial structure and their toxins. Usme bhi, especially staph, strep, clostridia. Okay. So staph, strep, clostridium, number 1. Viral may I would want to narrow it down to HIV and hepatitis. Okay, must do's. Fungal may I'm going to narrow it down to Candida and Cryptococcus. Okay, very important ones. And parasites may I'm going to narrow it down to Plasmodium and Toxoplasmosis. So those would be the top 5 recommendations for micro. Okay, I see we do have requests for pharmacology. So are you all ready for pharma?
just
Okay, yes.
before
So
we do
pharma again,
pharma,
very vast.
before we do pharma, I think, Dr. Deepti, if you can repeat the micro once more for the children.
Micro once more. Okay, so microbiology number 1, sterilization and disinfection. Please go through it. Number 2 पे bacterial structure and toxins. उसमें मैंने बोला you can for the last minute, you can narrow it down to staph, strep and clostridia. Viral may HIV and hepatitis. Again, those could be integrated questions. They may look like a medicine question or whatever, but yes, they're asked. Fungal may, again, Candida and Cryptococcus. It could be radiology images. It could be some signs, but yes, they're more important. Parasites may Plasmodium and Toxoplasmosis, right? That is for microbiology. Okay, pharma now. Yes. So pharma में सबसे पहले definitely you would see some questions on autonomic. So sympathetic parasympathetic का एक basic structure important है. Antimicrobials में they are specifically asking about mechanism of action and resistance. So focus on these aspects in antimicrobials. Okay, I'll repeat: mechanism of action and resistance. देन एंटी कैंसर हमेशा आती है. सो एंटी कैंसर ड्रग के बेसिक्स बहुत जरूरी हैं फॉर INICET. ओके, द नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आस्क्ड इज हायर इन दीज एरियाज. देन आई वुड एट नंबर 4 कीप CNS में I will say focus on anti-epileptics, antidepressants and antipsychotics. At least basic initial parts are very, very important. And lastly, I would say mechanism of drug action पे questions आते हैं like receptors, second messengers, right? So those would be the top 5 recommendations for pharmacology. Yes, and FMT. Okay, so I think FMT as well. I would like to give the recommendations, and I'm sure that you are going to resonate with me. So सबसे पहला number 1, injury types. Okay, injury types like laceration and incised wounds. Again, image based or general questions. Poisoning. Poisoning may I would specially highlight organophosphates, alcohol, snake bite. ठीक है, organophosphates, alcohol and snake bite. Okay, sexual assault. Typical question for INICET. So उसका protocol आना चाहिए. POCSO Act के basics आने चाहिए, right? So that's important from sexual assault. And at number 4, I would keep IPC, maybe the newer things in it, and CRPCs, right? So those would be the recommendations for FMT. Yes. So Dr. Sumaira, I invite you back. So today I wanted to focus on only first and second year. And if you feel my recommendations are good because I've gone through a lot of detailing with the teachers as well as the PYQs and PYTs, then in the tomorrow's session, maybe I can take up the third year subjects and tell you the important topics. Yes, anti-cancer drugs, yes,
our purpose,
very, very effective.
Yes, our purpose is like whenever we are doing the such topics, we are just giving you idea that what you should not miss out on.
Yes,
sometimes
yes.
what may happen is that you might be good at every virus, but you might be giving less importance to hepatitis. But we know hepatitis, HIV are very important. And physiology also, I think one bacha is asking, we already covered in the video. So Sudami, if you joined late, maybe you can see the video again. We will leave the video on the DAMS-eMedicoz platform as well as on the YouTube channel. You can see it later on as well. Also, we will mainly focus on this part, and in our subsequent sessions, we will talk about other prof subjects also, and third and fourth year also. And we will also talk about the technique of the exam. So, tomorrow I think we can continue with the Extraedge for INICET, and we'll do a part 2, and we'll cover more about the remaining subjects and the skill required in the exam day. So what we have talked about today is for the people who joined late, who can just want to go back to the video again, but don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because I see many students, they come back and say, sir, pata hi nahi chala ye session kab ho raha hai. Subscribe the YouTube channel, turn on the notifications. DAMS notification will always give you extra mark in your exam. It's not a disturbance. ये हमेशा एक नंबर बढ़ाएगी, क्योंकि कभी वो एग्जाम टीचर आ रहा होगा, जैसे all the teachers are now doing INICET predictors on the app, so on the YouTube channel. So don't miss out on subscribing to the channel and turning on notification. So today we have talked about that we need to use this opportunity of central institutes because the number is high. You have a lot of aims, lot of central institutes. Central institutes are well managed. Your stipends, your exams, everything happen on time. The universities are very standardized. The funds are good, so the machines and equipment you have everything to do there. And not only that, we have also talked about the predominance of first and second year subject. 50% of the paper is first, second year. And we have also talked about that what topics to focus on in the first, second year. And our DT has actually given you a list of topics, what not to miss out on.
I just hope I am effective and useful, even if I can contribute 1%, because I do understand the anxiety at the last time. So in 20 days, सब कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे, मगर वो जरूर करना चाहिए जिसकी probability highest है. And that's
And this
what the
is
purpose
the
is.
structure of your mission INICET as well. So these are the topics which have been stressed upon in the mission INICET as well. I'll request Dr. One bacha has asked, Madam, can you repeat the forensic topics once more?
Yes, absolutely. So at number one in forensics would be injuries. Injuries, maybe not. They're typically focusing on lacerations and incised wounds. So image-based B or वैसे भी. Poisoning is at number two. And I said I wanted to focus on especially these three: organophosphorus, alcohol, snake bites. Okay. Sexual assault is number three. So sexual assault protocols. They're almost always giving it a question, and it's not from obs and gynae, it's typically FMT, and even the POXO Act ke basic cheezein. Okay? And lastly, at number four, I would keep the IPCs and CRPCs.
So
Right? So that is for
I
FMT.
hope that gives you the extra edge. We promise that we will do this session as the extra edge for INICET. Tomorrow we'll continue with extra edge for INICET at 10 a.m. in the transform session. Be there. We look forward to meeting you all. Just remember, it is an asymmetric opportunity. Getting into a
And
central institute will change the career path. It is a good idea to go, all out in the remaining 19-20 days. Give it all so that you can change the career path.
okay, I'll just take up two queries quickly. There is one bacha who said, ma'am, please talk also about how to handle anxiety in these 20 days. Me and Sumer will definitely talk about it. And one bacha has said that, ma'am, what should be the strategy in next 20 days for a non-DAMS union? Bache, I would say that, number one, ensure that you are doing the first and second year subjects and you're not leaving out them because they have a higher weightage. Then I would recommend that, there are certain topics which INICET is very fond of asking, so which you can get to know from the PYQs as well. So ensure karo ki wo wale PYTs aapke missing na ho. And if you want in any ways, DAMS can help you, we would be happy to do that, right? Because eventually, yes, as teachers, we really want everyone to do well, right? So do let me know if you want any personal things that what resource of DAMS can give you the edge in last 20 days. We'll help you with that as well. Okay, so take care everyone, all the best, and see you tomorrow at 10 a.m.